For the last few years, we've been restoring this 50-year-old Carnival ride. There's probably only about a dozen or so examples of this ride left, and none of them match the original brochure picture. So we're back in the workshop, and I need to make several reproductions of this antique hood ornament. Is this actually antique or just vintage? This ride was made in 1972 by the King Amusement Company, and our goal has been to return it to its original appearance. To replicate the vintage look of the ride, we gotta make reproductions of several pieces that just aren't available anymore. We've even been sandcasting our own steering wheels out of aluminum because I can't find 20 of the originals. So I was able to find one of these on eBay, but for this project I need 5 and I can't find 5 that match. I've tried to make and finish these in a lot of different ways, but so far the best way seems to be to cast them in pewter. Unfortunately, the mold we made is already showing signs of deterioration, so we need to pull enough parts before this thing completely fails. We've cast enough pieces to make 2 hood ornaments, but we need to make 3 more. So I'm using everything I've learned up to this point to hopefully pull off some successful castings. We're preheating the mold. That will hopefully help the metal flow into the mold better. We've also got the pewter heating up in our electric furnace, and this is actually overkill. You can just as easily melt it in a hot plate, but I don't have a hot plate. This has been a really cool little tool to have here in the workshop. It can get hot enough to melt aluminum, so for small projects, it's pretty ideal. Deal with this mold now. This mold was made with Mold Max 60. We'll embed our screw. We'll let it heat up as a block just a little bit longer. Our metal here is ready. All right, I think we're going to give this a try. That mold is hot. All right. That should be all we need. This has been cooling for about 15 minutes. That should be enough to pull it out. See what it looks like. That looks pretty good. Let that sit just a little bit longer. It'll be easier to get it out. So the Mold Max 60, it can handle the high temperatures. The problem with it is it's a lot more brittle than normal silicone. As the mold deteriorates more and more, it's just going to mean more grinding we have to do. There it is. Bandsaw will make quick work of cleaning up all this stuff, and then some filing and some polishing. That's number 3. 2 more to go. We need to put some additional metal in to replace what we poured. But take this whole piece or not? Yep. All right, it's going to take a while for that to get back up to temperature. Come on, hit the hole. Felt like maybe that metal wasn't quite hot enough. Should have let it heat up for just a little bit longer. We'll do that before the next one. Well, I have some concerns. Not sure if we got enough rubber bands on this last one. Fairly large gap in there, which means we're going to have a lot of flashing, I believe. This one should be interesting. Let's find out together. Actually looks all right. I don't see any problem on this side. Flip it over, see what the other side looks like. That's all right. Here goes nothing. This is the moment of truth to see if we're going to be 3 for 3 on these castings. Ooh, a lot of flashing on this one. I think the casting is good, though. I don't think we're going to have a problem with this. A lot of extra trimming we're going to have to do, but casting's all right. But we really don't need to make any more of these. This mold lived long enough to do what we needed to do. It's time to clean up all of this and then get ready for the next step, which will be cutting all these pieces apart and then polishing them. Alright, slight change of plans. I decided it's never going to be easier to make these than it is right now. I still have extra metal left over, so while everything's set up, I should probably try to cast a few more just to have them on hand. It'd be better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. That looked like a really good pour. Much better than the last one. A lot less flashing. Well, now I'm really curious to see how many we can get before we run out of metal or the mold fails. Number 5. Well, unless I'm mistaken, I think we've got enough metal for one more casting. Let me get this one out and see how it went. A little extra flashing again. Not too bad, though. Alright, I think we're going to call it with this one. This is number 7. We might have enough for one more, but I'm not 100% sure. Once we finish trimming these up, the scrap we cut off of these will definitely give us enough to make at least one more, which we may or may not do. Really pleased with these. So now all we got to do is cut off all the excess and then do a lot of filing and polishing. So back to my plan from before of getting all this cleaned up. Somewhere down here. So I really need to clean out under here. I have a plan for what I want to do with it someday. It's just today is not that day. We need to come up with a name for this ride. Keep calling it the Rocket, or the King Rocket Ride, or the King Supersonic Rocket Ride, and we just need a name that rolls off the tongue easier than all of that. Something like Stan or Maurice. So if you have any ideas for names, share them down in the comments. So from here on out, it's going to be a lot of handwork. So I still don't know what these ride cars are going to look like. I haven't really got a clear picture in my head of what I want to do. Maybe I'll just put the drawing up as a downloadable PDF and folks can color it in and give me some ideas. I don't know, maybe we'll turn it into a contest or something. Well, I think that's about enough for today. It's getting late. So I think we're going to call it a night, and we'll hit this in the morning. I still got to get out my jewelry saw and cut that piece out yet. Once we get all the really bad imperfections out, we will start sanding them to get them down to a mirror finish. But that's a job for tomorrow. We're going to turn out the lights and go inside. So I got a lot of outside work to do on these rides, but this time of year in the spring, it seems to rain every weekend, and our backyard is currently a lake. I really need some sort of outside building here big enough to pull these into that I can work on them year round. All right, it is a new day. I've got my saw. So hopefully we can cut these pieces apart. I think the more I use this blade, the sharper it gets. So I've been filing away on these for the last hour or so, getting rid of all the seam lines and any imperfections. I've got the 5 that I need for the ride. These extra ones will probably just, I'm not going to dig into them now. We'll just put them on the shelf and they'll be standby. So these ones here are all ready for final polishing. And I was hoping to get to that today, but I'm feeling pretty rough. I don't know if I'm catching a cold or if it's allergies. You can probably hear it in my voice, but I'm pretty well spent for the day. So I think we're just going to call it a day on this project, and hopefully later on this week I can get back to them and get them polished up, and we can get it checked off of our list and move on to another part of the project.
So I'll be honest, and I'm driving with that steering wheel, and it turned out my car's broke down, and you'd be a can. The steering wheel's...
The steering wheel fell off. Oh, goodness.
You gotta work on my car.
Oh, I gotta work on your car? Let me see what did you do to your car, lady? Huh?
It broke down itself.
It broke down itself? Here, let me get a screwdriver. That'll probably fix it. Here, try that. I do have something else for you, though.
What?
You should have this.
It's not working.
It's not working? What happened to that?
The batteries run out.
I think they did. Oh, I took the batteries out.
Why?
Maybe Nanny stole them. You think Nanny stole my batteries?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, it can still be your horn.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any noise.
Remember you talked?
Yeah, it said that was easy.
Beep, 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 beep.
I have to file them with this stuff.
Oh.
And then I have to sand them and polish them. Those are extra ones there.
Yeah. These are extra ones. No, I know what.
Oh, you know what they are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be tough.
You're tough? Yeah. Well, not everybody's tough, though.
Yeah, my brother's not tough.
Your brother's not tough?
No.
I don't know. He's pretty tough.
He's a little bit tough.
Yeah, he's a little bit tough.
I'm a little bit harder tough.
But what about Roro? She's not tough.
I can't hit her super hard.
Well, you don't want to hit her. That's not good. Well, if you want to see what else goes on in this shop, like how that mold was made we used today, click that link to the left and come along for the ride.